Not everyone has a moment in life worthy of being remembered and cherished for a lifetime. Luckily, Chinese-Indonesian Leung Sze Mau has one. He vividly remembers the moment he offered flowers to China's then premier Zhou Enlai at the Bandung Conference 60 years ago in Indonesia. He was 14 years old then.
He wore a light gray-colored Chinese tunic suit, which matches his skin color. He walked naturally, not so fast, but steadily.
Leung settled down in Hong Kong, where he is a successful businessman with businesses in Korea, Indonesia, and Hong Kong. He owes his success to the inspiration of the Bandung spirit. In 1955, the Asia-Africa Conference, also called the Bandung Conference, was held during April 18 to 24 at Bandung, Indonesia. Then Premier Zhou Enlai was the leader of the Chinese delegation. He made a historic speech at the conference that clarified China's diplomatic policies of seeking common ground and reserving differences. The speech won wide and strong support from many countries. As a sophomore in Bandung Tsinghua Junior High School, Leung was selected as a student representative to greet the Chinese delegation and present flowers to Premier Zhou.
It was April the 15th. 1955. As soon as I arrived home after swimming, my mother rushed to me and told me the headmaster was waiting for me in the dining room. I was sweating and felt hot with anxiety.
The headmaster drove him by motorcycle to the local Chinese Federation organization to meet some judges. When asked whether he could keep a secret, even from family members, Leung said yes without any hesitation. On the morning of April 16, 1955, Leung arrived at the airport early in a new suit, white shirt and white short pants, waiting for the arrival of the Chinese delegation. Evening rolled by and it was announced that the delegation changed its plans. The flight would not come that evening as scheduled. The next morning when the flight arrived, Leung was so excited he could barely speak.
The plane door opened. Then Premier Zhou came out. People started to clap their hands to welcome him. Premier Zhou waved to the audience. Prime Minister of Indonesia, Ali Sestra Mijoyo, walked quickly, and I followed him up closely. Some officials gestured to me to stop and wait for Premier Zhou. Premier Zhou walked slowly because he was waving. Premier of Indonesia, Ali Sestra Mijoyo, hugged and shook hands with Premier Zhou. Then Ali waved to me. "Little boy, come here." So I did and presented the flowers to Premier Zhou.
Premier Zhou held Leung's hand, and Leung remembers his hands as warm and slender with long and soft fingers. Leung said he was too nervous to remember the welcome remarks he prepared in advance, and only said, "How are you, my beloved Premier Zhou?" A local photographer captured the precious moment. The opportunity was rare and precious for a boy to shake hands with such a prominent figure. Chinese Indonesians thought highly of Premier Zhou. Leung said his entire family felt extremely proud after discovering he offered him flowers. Since then, Leung has decided to choose a life of righteousness inspired by the care and encouragement by Premier Zhou Enlai. A third-generation Chinese Indonesian, Leung was born in Java, Indonesia. Like many overseas Chinese, Leung's family worked hard and started running their own business after accumulating some wealth. Leung was committed to making contributions to the motherland, China, since he started his business. Leung said Premier Zhou encouraged him to pursue a life of helping others achieve success and make himself a person with spirit of enterprise. He thought the spirit was inspired by the Bandung spirit. Then, the Asia-Africa Conference reached a 10-point declaration on promotion of the world peace and cooperation. It incorporated the principles that the United Nations Charter adopted unanimously. Leung said the Bandung spirit, of which core principles are solidarity, friendship, and cooperation, are not out of date, even today. He said that's still the best way for countries to communicate with each other and keep peace in the modern world.